My fiancé said, "My mom is moving in permanently. If you don't like it, leave." I said, "Okay." I called the landlord, my friend's dad, and canceled our lease. My friend's dad evicted both of them the next day. My fiancé was shocked that my house was never actually his. I, 28, have been sitting on this for about 2 weeks now, and honestly, I still get a little surge of satisfaction every time I think about it. Not proud of that, but here we are. Quick context. I've been with my fiancé, 32, for 3 years, engaged for 8 months. We moved into a rental house together about 14 months ago. Nice place, 3 bedrooms, decent yard, the whole suburban starter home vibe. Here's the thing everyone needs to understand. The house was never in his name, not even close. See, my best friend since middle school, we'll call her my bestie, her dad owns several rental properties. When I mentioned we were looking for a place, she connected us with her dad. He gave us a fantastic deal because he's known me since I was 12 and trusts me. The lease, solely in my name. My fiancé never questioned it because he assumed it was just paperwork convenience. I paid first month's rent and the security deposit, $4,200 total from my savings. We split rent 50-50 after that, but legally, on paper, I was the only tenant. My fiancé's name appeared nowhere on any document. He never seemed to care about the details. "You handle the boring stuff," he'd say. I'm not good with paperwork." Red flag number 1 that I ignored because love makes you stupid. Now my fiancé's mom. Oh boy. She's been a constant presence in our relationship. Weekly dinners at her place, mandatory. Sunday calls that lasted minimum 2 hours. She had opinions on everything, our furniture, my cooking, my career choices, even how I loaded the dishwasher. "You should rinse them first, sweetie." That's how I taught my son. "Your hair looks better longer. Why did you cut it? Are you sure you want to work those hours? My son needs attention too." I tolerated it, smiled through gritted teeth, reminded myself that she'd be my mother-in-law soon and I needed to keep the peace. Then 3 weeks ago, everything imploded. My fiancé came home from visiting his mom with a weird energy. I was in the kitchen making dinner when he sat down at the counter and just watched me. Didn't say anything for like 5 minutes. "Everything okay?" I asked. "We need to talk." Those words. Never good. He explained that his mom's landlord had sold the building. New owners were renovating and not renewing leases. She had 60 days to find a new place. "That's rough," I said, genuinely sympathetic. "Is she looking at apartments in her area?" "Actually." He paused. "I told her she could move in here." I stopped stirring. "Excuse me? Just temporarily, until she finds something." "You told her she could move in without asking me first." "It's my mom, she's family. I didn't think I needed permission." I took a breath. "Okay, how long are we talking? A month? 2? He wouldn't meet my eyes. However long it takes. Which could be. She's on a fixed income. Finding affordable housing isn't easy. Could be a while. Define a while. I don't know. Maybe? Permanently? The word hung in the air like a bad smell. "Permanently," I repeated. "Your mother, living with us, forever. She's getting older. She shouldn't be alone, and this house has 3 bedrooms. We're not using the guest room. That's my home office. You can work in the living room." The casual dismissal of my needs, my space, my input, it was like a switch flipped. I'd been accommodating his mom for 3 years. 3 years of criticism disguised as advice, of being made to feel like an interloper in my own relationship, of my fiancé always taking her side. "I'm not comfortable with this," I said carefully. "We need to discuss it." "There's nothing to discuss. She's moving in next weekend." "Next weekend? You already set a date?" "She needs to start packing. Couldn't leave her hanging." "But you could leave me hanging? Make a major life decision without even consulting me?" His face hardened. "This is my house too. My mom. My decision. Our house, our decision. That's how partnerships work." "Fine. Then I'm telling you, as your partner, my mom is moving in. And I'm telling you, as your partner, I'm not okay with that." He stood up, and I swear his whole demeanor shifted into something I'd never seen before. Cold. Almost contemptuous. "Then maybe you should leave." I blinked. "What? If you can't accept my mother, maybe we shouldn't get married. Maybe you should find somewhere else to live." The silence stretched for what felt like minutes. "You're choosing your mother over me?" "I'm choosing family. She was here before you. She'll be here after you." Something in me just settled. like all the anxiety and anger crystallized into perfect clarity. Okay, I said. He looked surprised. Okay, what? Okay, I'll leave. I wait, really? You said if I don't like it, leave, so I will. His expression flickered, confusion, maybe a hint of regret, but then his jaw set. Fine, but you should know I'm not giving up this house. I've built a life here. You do what you need to do. I went to our bedroom, grabbed my laptop, and texted my best friend. Need to talk. It's urgent. She called immediately. I explained everything. By the time I finished, she was already conferencing in her dad. Update 1. The fallout begins. So here's where it gets good. My best friend's dad, the actual landlord, was furious. Not at me, at the situation. See, he'd given us that lease specifically because he knew me. Trusted me. My fiancé wasn't even supposed to be living there, technically. He was an approved occupant, not a leaseholder. He wants to bring in another permanent resident without notifying me, my friend's dad said. And he's giving you ultimatums about my property? He thinks it's his house, I said. He's about to learn a valuable lesson about reading documents. Here's what happened next. That same night, I emailed my friend's dad a formal request to terminate my lease early, citing irreconcilable differences with my living situation. He responded within an hour accepting the termination, effective in 30 days, waiving the early termination fee as a courtesy. But here's the kicker, since I was the only one on the lease, my departure meant the lease was simply over. My fiancé had no legal right to remain. The next morning, my friend's dad personally delivered a notice to vacate. 30 days. Standard procedure. I was at my friend's apartment when my phone exploded. Say, what the hell is this? Did you seriously get me evicted? This is my house. I didn't respond. Just screenshot everything and saved it. 20 minutes later he called. I let it go to voicemail, then called again, and again. Finally I picked up. What did you do? He was screaming. I terminated my lease. Your lease? This is our lease. No, it's my lease. My name only. Check your copy. Oh wait, you don't have one because you never signed anything. Silence. Then that's not possible. We moved in together. We did. You moved in with me, into my rental. I've been paying rent. To me, which I then paid to the landlord. Your name isn't on any of the paperwork. This is insane. You can't just kick me out. I'm not kicking you out. I'm ending my lease and leaving. You have no lease to stay under. Where am I supposed to go? Ask your mom. Apparently she's great at finding housing situations. I hung up. The next few hours were chaos. His mom called. I ignored it. His sister called. Ignored that too. Then the texts from his mom started. You vindictive little witch. How dare you do this to my son? He gave you everything and this is how you repay him? I always knew you weren't good enough for him. You'll regret this. Women like you always do. I screenshot those too. Documentation is everything. My fiancé showed up at my friend's apartment that evening. Started banging on the door. I know you're in there. We need to talk. My friend's dad, who happened to be there helping me plan my next steps, opened the door. Son, you need to leave before I call the police. This is none of your business. Actually, it's literally my business. I'm the landlord, and you're about to be trespassing if you don't step back. My fiancé's face went through about 6 different expressions, finally settled on desperate. Please, he said, looking past my friend's dad at me. Please, can we just talk about this? I'm sorry, Tress, I overreacted. My mom doesn't have to move in. Funny how that changed once you realized you don't actually have a house. I didn't mean any of it. I was stressed. My mom was pressuring me. So you gave me an ultimatum, told me to leave, said your mom would be there after I was gone. I was angry, and I'm done. 30 days. Figure it out. My friend's dad closed the door. Update 2. The entitlement escalates. You'd think that would be the end of it. You'd be wrong. Over the next 2 weeks, the entitlement from my now ex and his mother reached levels I genuinely didn't think were possible. First, his mom tried to negotiate directly with my friend's dad. Called him at his office. Surely we can work something out. My son has been a good tenant. Your son was never a tenant, ma'am. He was an approved occupant under someone else's lease. Well, can't you just put the lease in his name now? No. Why not? Because I don't want to. That property is already lined up for different tenants. This is discrimination. It's property ownership. Goodbye. She hung up and apparently called 3 more times. The fourth time, my friend's dad told her any further contact would be considered harassment and he'd involve his attorney. That finally shut her up. Then my ex started with the guilt trips. Long rambling texts at 2 a.m. I gave you 3 years of my life. I was going to marry you, make you part of my family. How can you throw that away? You're punishing me because I love my mother? I didn't respond to any of them. His sister tried the reasonable person approach, called me from an unknown number, so I picked up. Hi, it's me. Please don't hang up. I just want to understand what happened. Your brother told me to leave, so I'm leaving. But the house was never his. I know that's hard to accept, but it's the truth. He's a mess. He's staying at my place and he just sits there staring at walls. That sounds like a him problem. How can you be so cold? Your brother chose his mother over me, gave me an ultimatum without discussion, told me his mom would be there after I was gone. I'm supposed to feel bad that there are consequences. He didn't mean it. He absolutely meant it. He just didn't expect me to actually do it. She didn't have a response for that, but the real fireworks came at the 2-week mark. I had to go back to the house to get my stuff. Brought my friend's dad and 2 guys he knew for safety and witnesses. My ex was there, with his mom, in my house. You've got some nerve showing up here. His mom spat. I'm here to collect my belongings. I have every right to be here until the lease ends. You've ruined my son's life. Your son ruined his own life when he told me to leave. My ex stepped forward. Just take your stuff and go. You've done enough. I walked past him and started gathering my things. I'd already made a list: clothes, books, my laptop and desk setup from the home office, which his mom had already started filling with her boxes, I noticed, kitchen items I'd bought, artwork from the walls. You're not taking the TV, my ex said. I bought it. With our money. With my money. I have the receipt, paid with my credit card. We were together. Everything was shared. We weren't married. And even if we were, this is my property. I have documentation for everything I'm taking. His mom inserted herself. You're stealing from him. Ma'am, I'd suggest you stop talking before you say something actionable. I continued packing while my ex stood there seething. His mom kept making snide comments. Look at her, clearing out the place like a vulture. I raised my son to be generous. Clearly, he picked the wrong woman. No wonder she's unmarried at 28. Who would want her? I just kept working. Didn't engage. Every word she said just confirmed I'd made the right call. When I got to the bedroom, I found something interesting. A jewelry box on the dresser. Mine was open and empty. Where's my jewelry? I asked. What jewelry? My ex's face gave everything away. The pieces that were in this box, my grandmother's earrings, my mother's necklace. I don't know what you're talking about. Those items have sentimental value. Where are they? His mom appeared in the doorway. Maybe you should have thought about your precious jewelry before you made my son homeless. My stomach dropped. You took them. I didn't take anything, but if something's missing, well, karma's a funny thing. I looked at my friend's dad. He was already on the phone. Yes, I'd like to report a theft. Suddenly my ex's attitude changed completely. Wait, let's not be dramatic. Where is my jewelry? Mom took them, for safekeeping. She was worried you'd claim I stole them or something. So you did steal them. We were keeping them safe. Give them back, Mom. His mom's face twisted. Why should I, after what she's done? Because it's theft, my friend's dad said, and the police are on their way. She went pale, then tried to backtrack. I was going to return them, eventually. I just wanted her to know how it feels to lose something. The jewelry, now. She disappeared for a minute and came back with a small bag. I checked. Everything was there. But the fact that she'd taken them in the first place. The police arrived anyway. I filed a report. Nothing would likely come of it since the items were returned, but it was documented. One more piece of evidence of their entitlement and willingness to retaliate. As I was loading the last of my boxes, my ex made one final attempt. We can still fix this. I'll get my mom an apartment. We can find a new place together. Start fresh. You told me to leave. You chose your mother. Those were your words. I was wrong. Yeah, you were. But you weren't wrong about who you'd choose. That was the most honest you've ever been with me. I drove away and didn't look back. Final update, 3 weeks later. So here's where things stand. The 30-day notice expired last week. My friend's dad's new tenants, a lovely couple with a baby on the way, moved in this past weekend. My ex and his mom, they ended up in a 2-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of town. His mom complained constantly about the size, the neighborhood, the lack of a yard. From what I heard through mutual friends, she blamed him for letting me leave. If you just kept her happy, none of this would have happened. You should have handled her better. I raised you to be the man of the house, not some pushover. The irony? She's there permanently now, just like she wanted. Except instead of a nice 3-bedroom house with a yard, they're crammed into a tiny apartment that neither of them can afford alone. His mom's Social Security barely covers her share. My ex is working overtime just to keep up. The comfortable life he'd built with my support? Gone. I found out through his sister, who reached out to apologize actually, that he's been trying to get his mom to move out. Set up her own place. She refuses. After everything I sacrificed for you, I'm not going anywhere. He's trapped now, living with the consequences of choosing her over me. The jewelry incident had lasting effects too. Even though nothing criminal came of it, word spread through our mutual friends. People who'd initially given me side-eye for abandoning him changed their tune when they heard his mom had stolen from me. She took your grandmother's earrings? That's messed up. I can't believe he just let her do that. You dodged a bullet. That last one hit different. Because for a while, I'd questioned myself. Was I too harsh? Too quick to react? But every new piece of evidence just confirmed what I already knew. This wasn't about one comment. It was about a pattern. A man who put his mother first, always, and expected me to just accept it. The engagement ring has been returned. I mailed it certified. Didn't want any claims about me keeping it. He sent a text acknowledging receipt, but nothing else. No apology. No acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, he was wrong. His mom, predictably, has been telling anyone who'll listen that I'm a vindictive woman who destroyed her son's life. But the story never quite holds up when people ask follow-up questions. She evicted him. But wasn't it her lease? Well, yes, but... And didn't he tell her to leave first? He was stressed. So she left, like he asked, and took her lease with her. It doesn't play as well as she hoped. As for me, I'm staying at my friend's place temporarily while I look for my own apartment. It's cramped but peaceful. No one criticizes how I load the dishwasher. No one demands I sacrifice my home office for their comfort. No one tells me to leave and then acts shocked when I do. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't sad. 3 years is a long time. There were good memories, trips we took, holidays we spent together, quiet evenings that felt like forever in the best way. But here's the thing about good memories. They don't obligate you to accept bad treatment. They don't mean you have to sacrifice your boundaries, your space, your self-respect. He made his choice, his mother over me, his comfort over our partnership, his assumption that I'd just fold over my actual autonomy. And I made mine. The best part, when I signed my new lease last week, my own place, just me, exactly what I can afford, the landlord asked if anyone else would be on the lease. No, I said, just me. It felt so good to say that. Some people think I was petty, that I should have talked it out more, fought for the relationship, tried to compromise. But here's what they don't understand. I'd already been compromising for 3 years. Every weekly dinner with his mom. Every criticism I swallowed. Every time I adjusted my life to accommodate her preferences. The house wasn't just a lease. It was the first time I had real leverage. And when he told me to leave, genuinely believed he could take my home from me, I realized I'd been giving him power he never actually had. So I took it back. Last thing. His sister sent me a message yesterday. Apparently, he's been asking about me. Wants to know if there's any chance we could talk. I didn't respond. Some conversations don't need to happen. Some chapters just need to close. The lease on my new place starts next month. I'm buying furniture this weekend. Just the essentials. Nothing fancy. Starting from scratch at 28 wasn't my plan. But neither was spending my life as second priority to a mama's boy and his enabling mother.
I'll take the fresh start.
My wife cheated with her ex on our wedding day, thinking I'd never know. Now, she's alone at the altar as I walked out. I'm 32, male, and I thought I was about to marry the love of my life. We've been together for 3 years, and honestly, I thought everything was perfect. She was smart, funny, gorgeous, and for a long time, I truly believed she was the one. But what happened in the days leading up to our wedding showed me exactly who she really was. And trust me, it wasn't the person I thought I knew. About a week before the wedding, things started feeling off. At first, I thought it was just the stress of planning everything. Weddings are intense, right? But there were little things that made me uneasy. She started being secretive with her phone, stepping out of the room to take calls, and giving vague answers when I'd ask her who she was talking to. At first, I didn't think too much of it. I trusted her. We were about to get married, for crying out loud. But then one night, her phone buzzed while she was in the shower, and I noticed a message pop up. The contact name just said D. Something about it didn't sit right with me. I didn't open her phone. That's not my style. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was up. So later that night, I asked her, "Who's D?" I saw his name pop up earlier. She didn't even hesitate. "Oh, just an old friend. He's going through some stuff, so we've been talking. No big deal." She said it so casually, like it didn't matter. But there was something in her tone that made my gut twist. Still, I didn't push it. I wasn't going to be that guy, the paranoid fiancé who makes a big deal out of nothing. But after that, I started noticing more weird behavior. She'd go out late at night, saying she was meeting up with her maid of honor to go over wedding details, but wouldn't tell me much. She started taking longer to respond to my texts, and when I'd ask how things were going, she'd get defensive, saying I was stressing her out with all my questions. It wasn't until the day before our rehearsal dinner that things really clicked. She was out again last-minute wedding stuff, and I was at home trying to relax. One of my groomsmen called me, sounding weird. "Hey man, I didn't know if I should say anything, but I just saw him at a coffee shop." Okay. I didn't see what the big deal was. She was with some guy. I think it was her ex-man. I froze. "What do you mean, her ex?" "I don't know. I just thought it was weird." They were sitting real close, and it didn't look like they were talking about wedding plans, if you know what I mean. Now, I wasn't the kind of guy to jump to conclusions, but the fact that she'd been acting shady for weeks, and now this, I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. My fiancée was meeting her ex the night before our wedding rehearsal. It wasn't adding up. I didn't say anything to her that night. I needed to think to figure out what the hell was going on. But I had a sinking feeling that everything I thought I knew about our relationship was about to implode. The next morning, I was still reeling. We were supposed to be getting ready for our big day, and here I was feeling like something was seriously wrong. I showed up at the venue early, hoping to clear my head before the rehearsal. That's when I saw her, standing in the corner, talking to someone. I didn't even need to get close to recognize him. It was her ex. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. She was smiling, laughing, and they were standing way too close for comfort. I wasn't sure what was going on, but I knew right then and there that I couldn't just ignore this. I walked up to them, trying to keep my cool, and said, "What's going on here?" Her face turned white. She tried to laugh it off. "Oh, hey, you remember D, right? We're just catching up." "Catching up?" I repeated, my voice tight. "We're getting married tomorrow, and you're catching up with your ex? Are you serious right now?" D had the nerve to stand there like nothing was wrong, his hands shoved in his pockets, smirking. I wanted to punch him right then, but I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction of seeing me lose it. Instead, I turned to her. "Tell me the truth. What the hell is going on?" She started stammering, trying to explain. "It's not like that. He's just going through some stuff, and I wanted to be there for him. We've been friends for a long time. It's nothing, I swear." But I could see through her lies. She wasn't just meeting up with him for some innocent chat. There was something deeper going on, and I wasn't going to stand there like an idiot while she played me. I walked away without saying another word, leaving them both standing there. I needed to get my head straight before I made any rash decisions. But deep down, I knew what I had to do. There was no way in hell I was going to marry someone who still had feelings for their ex, who had been lying to me for God knows how long. The next morning, the day of our wedding, I woke up with a strange sense of calm. I knew what I needed to do, but it didn't make it any easier. I went to the venue, got dressed, and prepared for the inevitable. The ceremony started, and everything seemed perfect, at least on the surface. But I knew better. I stood at the altar, waiting for her to walk down the aisle, my heart pounding, but not out of excitement, out of pure rage. The music played, and there she was looking like she had no idea what was coming. She reached the altar, and as the officiate began the ceremony, I stopped him. "I'm sorry," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "but I can't do this." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Her eyes widened in shock, and she whispered, "What are you doing?" I ignored her and turned to the guests. "I need to be honest with everyone here. Something's been going on that most of you don't know about. I found out yesterday that Emma's been meeting up with her ex. She's been lying to me, sneaking around behind my back, and I'm not going to stand here and marry someone who clearly doesn't respect me." Gasps filled the room. Her family looked horrified. My friends were in shock, and she just stood there, tears welling up in her eyes. But I wasn't done. "I deserve better than this," I said, turning back to her. "You invited him to our wedding. You lied to me over and over again. I'm not going to let you make a fool out of me." That's when the real entitlement kicked in. She grabbed my arm, crying, and said, "Please don't do this. You're embarrassing me. Think about what you're doing to me. Everyone's going to think I'm some kind of monster. You can't just leave me like this." Her tears didn't move me. I'd seen her true colors, and I wasn't about to back down. I pulled my arm away and said, "You did this to yourself." But she wasn't done. She switched tactics, her voice lowering as she whispered, "If you leave, I'll tell everyone you've been impossible to deal with. I'll say the wedding stress made you snap. No one will believe you." I stared at her, feeling disgusted. Even now, after everything, she was trying to manipulate me, try to control the situation so she wouldn't look like the bad guy. But I wasn't about to let her get away with it. "Go ahead," I said, my voice cold. "Tell them whatever you want. I don't care anymore." I turned and walked away, leaving her standing there, sobbing in front of all our friends and family. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. I knew I'd made the right decision. After that, things got messy. She tried to spin the story, telling people I'd overreacted, that I was paranoid and couldn't handle the stress of the wedding. But the truth came out. People saw her for what she was, a liar and a manipulator. Her ex didn't stick around long after the wedding fell apart, and from what I heard, she ended up burning a lot of bridges with her lies. As for me, I walked away, hurt but relieved. I dodged a bullet, and I knew it. If she could lie to me that easily, if she could try to manipulate me and turn things around on me like that, she wasn't the person I thought she was. And I wasn't about to spend my life with someone like that. So yeah, I left her at the altar, and I don't regret it for a second. Moral of the story? If something feels off, trust your gut. And if someone tries to manipulate you or make you feel like you're in the wrong for setting boundaries, walk away. You deserve better. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. So please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more stories like this one.